Hazards are going to be in the triple digits, but cooling off to 99 on a Sunday and Monday. There you go.
Great. Thank you, Mark. And that is the news at 10. Thanks for joining us.
Coming up on the KUSI News at 11, it's a reaction to the Stanford University rapist who got a slap on the hand for his crime. State lawmakers have passed a bill tonight to make sure that never happens again. That story and more coming up on the KUSI News at 11 in 60 seconds.
This is the KUSI News at 11.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Lauren Finney.
And I'm Alan Denton. In tonight for Ross Becker. Thanks for joining us. A young man, just 21 years old, faces 15 years behind bars.
Christian Evangelista is accused of killing a 19-year-old woman in a fatal DUI crash in Mira Mesa. KUSI's Ashley Rodriguez has more on his appearance in court today. Ashley?
Tutam Lee was killed right here last Sunday morning, and I spoke with a neighbor who came out here to help, but instead was outraged by what he saw.
First thing that I heard was just a big bang, metal on metal. It sounded like two trash cans smacking against each other, metal on metal. No screeching, no apparent attempt to avoid a crash.
Daniel Arzaga lives just 2 doors down from where Tutam Lee's car crashed. He said he was first on the scene. 19-year-old Tutam was unconscious. 21-year-old Christian Evangelista unconcerned.
He was more concerned about his crew than he was about the woman that was in the car, the other car that they had hit.
On behalf of Mr. Evangelista, present before the court in custody.
Evangelista stood before a judge nearly a week after his arrest.
Of the complaint, people.
The young man looking afraid as his attorney entered in a not guilty plea. Authorities say when he and his friends ran out of alcohol last Sunday, his friend offered to pick up more booze at a nearby 7-Eleven. But Evangelista volunteered for the job. All seemed well, but on the drive back, Evangelista admitted to speeding, going 55 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. The DA says Evangelista's blood alcohol content was around 0.16 at the time, twice the legal limit. 2 of his friends were hurt.
When the firefighters arrived, I made absolutely sure that they went directly to the car, okay? And he was there again, hanging on to the back end of his car, saying, my crew, take care of my people, they're hurt, okay? To me, that's not right, okay? That's when I directed the firefighters to the fact that there was still somebody in the other car. Please take care of them.
Tutam was not killed instantly, but didn't make it to the hospital. The deputy district attorney talked about her frustration with these fatal crashes.
More often than not, this is one of those crimes that's 100% preventable. I mean, take a ride-sharing application and, you know, it's one of those things where it's a tragedy for everyone involved.
Evangelista is facing 15 years and 4 months behind bars for gross vehicular manslaughter and driving under the influence causing injury to multiple people.
You know, speed, alcohol, drugs, they don't correlate. There's no way in the world that they should ever come together, okay? If you're doing that, stop.
Tutam attended Westview High, yet another life taken by drinking and driving. The weekend she died, 3 others died in alcohol-related crashes. Evangelista will be in court again next week. Live in Mira Mesa, Ashley Rodriguez, KUSI News.
All new tonight at 11, Democratic Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez helped make history tonight after her farm worker overtime bill passed the Assembly. It's now on its way to Governor Brown's desk. Bill 1066, which was authored by Gonzalez, will mandate employers pay farm workers overtime as well as reduce the workday to 8 hours. Currently, the farming industry in California is the only industry exempt from overtime laws. If the bill is signed by Governor Brown in the coming weeks, it will become the first law of its kind in the nation. Assemblywoman Gonzalez says this bill comes down to two things for her: equality and justice.
Farm workers have been waiting 78 years to be treated the same as everybody else, and this would give them that right. My grandfather was bracero. My father came to this country starting by working in the fields in Oceanside as in the strawberry fields, and so it's you know, I come from a long tradition of wanting to make things right, and that's what today was about. It was about making sure that there's no worker in California that's looked at differently under the law just because they work in the fields.
The bill was sponsored by the United Farm Workers of America, which was co-founded by activist Cesar Chavez and his wife Dolores Huerta.
State lawmakers also passed another bill today, but this one concerns lenient sentences for convicted rapists. The bill was drafted after national outrage over the 6-month jail sentence given to Brock Turner, the Stanford swimmer convicted of rape. Some say the sentence was too lenient. Turner was convicted of raping an unconscious woman behind a dumpster after a party at Stanford. The new law, if signed by Governor Brown, will require state prison time for people convicted of raping someone unconscious or intoxicated. That bill is now headed to the governor's desk. The San Diego County Health and Human Services Agency is working to notify individuals who were possibly exposed to tuberculosis in Chula Vista. The agency reported a person with active tuberculosis may have exposed others at Harborside Elementary School and Castle Park Middle School. Most people exposed to TB don't develop the disease, but free testing for students is being provided. So far, there have been 132 TB cases reported in the county this year.
Thousands of students went back to school today, but one Lincoln High School student is at the center of controversy tonight. Last February, a student at Lincoln High School was accused of attacking a school officer who was trying to break up a fight. That officer is still in a wheelchair. The president of the school's Police Officer Association says this sets a bad example for other students.
To the student body, it could send a message that no matter what offense you make, anything that could possibly get you expelled won't, and you'll be right back where you came from.
And portrayed as possibly a hero?
He could be portrayed as a hero by some, and being that someone who beat a cop, and now he's back at school while the cop is still out injured.
Well, Superintendent Cindy Martin responded to the controversy, releasing a statement saying, in part, "I've been clear the primary job of the schools is educating children, and we cannot let anything get in the way of their access to a good education." Well, Montana said that, quote, "there will be people who will look up to the student as someone who beats up on cops and gets away with it."
Parts of the 805 freeway are currently closed for construction. The closures will take place between East Orange Avenue, Olympic Parkway, and Telegraph Canyon Road in Chula Vista from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. through Thursday. Now, during those hours, up to 3 lanes will be closed in each direction, along with occasional closures of the ramps. Workers will be restriping the freeway and installing fences along the bridge. The project will allow a connection between East Palomar Street and the 805 South Bay Rapid Transit. The Viejas tribe has made one of the biggest single donations ever to the San Diego Police Officers Association. The East County tribe presented the association with a check for $50,000 today. The money is intended to help the Widows and Orphans Fund, supporting the families of law enforcement officers killed in the line of duty. Tribal Chairman Robert Welch Jr. says giving to charity is an important part of the Native American culture.
It's a great pleasure to be able to help out and to help in any way we can with the Police Officers Association. It is our culture to give, and for what they do, the sacrifices that they make for the people of San Diego and the whole county of San Diego, we greatly appreciate it.
Chairman Welch says he hopes the Police Officers Association never has to use the money.
And some more good news, especially for cancer patients in San Diego County. Scripps Health has announced it's partnering with MD Anderson Cancer Center. MD Anderson is the largest cancer hospital in the world and the top-ranked cancer hospital in the country. The partnership will give Scripps patients access to care and research by doctors at MD Anderson.
It's a very different kind of logo, and as I looked at it, I went, it's striking when you see that red mark through it. But then you think about it, and that's what our goal is. Our goal is to cross out cancer, eliminate cancer.
Well, more than 173,000 new cases of cancer are expected to be diagnosed in California this year. That's more new cancer diagnoses than any other state in America.
There are a number of proposals that will come before the governor before the end of the legislative session, among them control of the Public Utilities Commission. It's under fire for holding ex parte meetings with regulators and power company executives that were not documented. The meetings were also not recorded or reported to the public. Attorney Micah Gary joined us earlier and voiced his concerns.
What happens is all the decision makers are flown over there under the guise that they're having a conference of some type, and then they get together, outside you pesky, pest people are always asking those questions, and then they make their decisions and they come back and they implement them.
And Aguirre went on to suggest 5 new members of the CPUC be appointed that aren't staff members of a government office. He says this will ensure less secrecy.
Well, a topic that has been trending today all over social media is the death of film legend Gene Wilder. The 2-time Academy Award nominee died this morning at the age of 83.
He was best known for his work with director Mel Brooks, starring in classic movies like Young Frankenstein and, of course, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. KUSI's Brandy Williams has more on the life of the man and comedian who so many loved.
It was Mel Brooks who first saw something funny in actor Gene Wilder. He saw the potential, the passion, and knew he could be a star. His breakthrough role as the neurotic accountant Leo Bloom in the 1968 Brooks comedy The Producers earned Wilder an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor.
No, don't hit it. It doesn't help. It only increases my sense of danger.
Gene Wilder was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and caught the acting bug by doing theater. His professional relationship with Brooks grew, and the two made 3 movies together. He earned his second Oscar nod for one of those films, Young Frankenstein.
It could work!
Perhaps the film that Gene Wilder is most known for is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
In a world of pure imagination.
His private life became public with his marriage in 1984 to Saturday Night Live star Gilda Radner. Sadly, after 2 years of marriage, Radner was diagnosed with ovarian cancer and died 3 years later. The actor teamed up with his friend Richard Pryor for a string of successful comedies, including Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, and See No Evil, Hear No Evil. By the 1990s, Wilder remarried and kept his career going with various projects. In 2005, he released his memoir, Kiss Me Like a Stranger, My Search for Love and Art. Gene Wilder's nephew confirmed today that the actor died due to complications from Alzheimer's disease. On his Twitter page, Mel Brooks, who is still alive at age 90, called Wilder one of the truly great talents of our time, and said he blessed every film we did with his magic and he blessed me with his friendship. Gene Wilder was 83 years old. Brandy Williams, KUSI News.
Very sad when I saw it this morning. Quite a talent.
Yeah, he was. I mean, his comedy was just beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
and
great.
Such a range.
Yes, he could.
Not too many people have quite the same range as
and
he
he
did.
could act with a lot of different people, a lot of different talents.
He'll be missed.
Yeah.
Right now, let's send it over to Mark Mathis for a look at our weather. It's been pretty nice, Mark.
It really has. And he also was in the original Producers with Zero Mostel.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and
right.
the movies he was in was just incredible. All right, here we go. Here's what it looks like. 70 in Poway, 71 in Escondido, 67 in Ramona, 72 in El Cajon, 70 in National City, 70 in San Diego, 69 in Carlsbad, 99 Borrego Springs, 58 Mount Laguna, and 70 in Campos, 69 in Imperial Beach. Now, temperatures are going to warm up before they get cooler. And how long do we stay warm before we get cooler? And what's it going to be like for the holiday weekend? We'll talk about it all coming up in just a bit.
Sounds good, Mark. Thank you. Well, the Obama administration is calling it mission accomplished. Coming up, the 10,000th Syrian refugee came to the U.S. a month ahead of schedule, but it doesn't stop there.
And the Associated Press is still not backing down after its controversial tweet and story about Hillary Clinton, despite many calling the report and tweet false.
And it's a done deal at last. The Chargers announced today they finally signed first-round pick Joey Bosa. That and the rest of today's news when we come back. The Obama administration says it has completed its goal of resettling 10,000 Syrian refugees in the U.S. before the end of September. Earlier today, the 10,000th Syrian refugee entered the U.S., according to National Security Advisor Susan Rice. However, the State Department says it will most likely accept more applications. The State Department says 10,000 is not the end, but rather a beginning. President Obama set the goal last year in response to the global refugee crisis of millions of Syrians fleeing violence and conflict.
Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is expected to give his long-anticipated immigration speech this Wednesday. His remarks will take place in Arizona. The question is whether he is backing off on his plan to deport many of the nation's estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants. Now, it appears Trump is moving toward prioritizing deportations to target criminal illegal immigrants.
All the media wants to talk about is the 11 million people or more or less that are here illegally. On day one, I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal illegal immigrants from this country.
The Republican nominee has been accused of flip-flopping on the key election issue. Last week, he said he's willing to work with illegal immigrants. He also said he's standing behind his promise to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border. Well, as you can see, there are already some changes on the border here in San Diego. The old border crossing building on the U.S. side is coming down. The demolition began this morning. It's going to take about a year to build a new one, but where it will be, it's going to be bigger and better, and it's going to be much more efficient. The new building is part of a $200 million facelift. And the Mexican side of the border already has its new building.
Hillary Clinton is on track to have her best month of fundraising since the beginning of her campaign. Clinton headlined 31 events for the month of August. She appeared at 3 different fundraisers in the Hamptons on Sunday and raised more than $11 million. As of today, Clinton and her VP nominee, Tim Kaine, have raised more than $70 million this month. A new Monmouth poll released today suggests Clinton is still maintaining her lead over Trump. The poll has Clinton leading Trump by 7 points. And the Associated Press is still under fire after its controversial tweet and false claims concerning the Clinton Foundation. The AP is defending its recent story about Clinton's meetings while she was Secretary of State. The agency reported that more than half of the people whom she met were Clinton Foundation donors, but the report came under fire as misleading, at least because it left out thousands of other meetings she had with government officials and others. The agency's executive editor responded to that criticism.
I would say that we're a lot better at breaking stories and covering news and gathering video and taking photographs than we are on tweets on Sunday, and this one could have used some more precision.
Does that mean regret?
No. If we felt it was wrong, we would have taken it down right away.
But it was wrong. It says that half of the people she met with were donors.
I think it was sloppy.
Well, Carroll put some of the blame on the Clinton Foundation, saying that it was unresponsive when it came to answering questions.
Mark's got the answer to all our weather questions tonight.
Oh, man. I hope it's the right answers.
I do too.
Just always remember that, Lauren, if you can. Just, I have the answers to everything.
Evidence would tell me otherwise, Mr. Mathis.
Oh, here we go.
Now you got her going.
This is why they separate us.
You lit the fire on that one.
No kidding. All right, here we go. Here's what it looks like outside. We do have high pressure. It is building. And the area of low pressure is to the west. And that is going to get going after this high begins to weaken. But through tomorrow, it's going to be warm. Temperatures, tomorrow's actually going to be the warmest day that we have over the next 7. We really start to cool down a bunch as we head into this weekend, and especially the holiday weekend. We're going to go from high temperatures in the 90s in the inland valleys to the lower 80s and upper 70s. All right, the marine layer is going to push inland a few miles, but then it goes away very quickly tomorrow. So temperatures are going to warm up quickly as well. So tomorrow, again, the warmest day. Temperatures in the 60s and the 70s tonight. Highs in the 90s in the inland valleys, but we're going to be about 2 to 5 degrees warmer than that tomorrow inland valleys. Coastal areas aren't going to fluctuate much because that marine layer is going to stick around and hug the coastal areas. 70s, the current temperature, winds out of the west right now at 5. 78 was the high today, the normal high 77. So along the coast, we were only 1 degree warmer than we normally are. Water temperatures were cooling down last week, but they're starting to warm up a little bit this week. 3-foot waves all up and down the coast. And we have 2 hurricanes, Lester and Madeline. Both will affect the Hawaiian Islands as we head into this weekend. One's a Cat 4, will become a Category 2. The second one is a Cat 3, will become a Category 1. Here's your forecast, powered by AccuWeather. 70s in the coastal areas, overnight lows in the 60s. And then in the inland areas, 90s, 87 Friday, 84 Saturday, 81 Sunday, 80 on Monday. This is going to be great in the inland areas. Mountains look even better. Highs are going to be in the 70s. And then in the deserts, highs in the triple digits to the upper 90s. There you go.
All right. Great. Thank you, Mark.
Those are pretty good answers, Mark.
Yeah.
Pretty good answers.
Thank you.
You ready?
Shoot the cuffs
I was trying to give you more time.
Fellas. Shoot the cuffs. Coming up in sports, Bosa signs, Collins sits, and Parkview returns. It's all coming up next. Joey Bosa finally signing on the dotted line. The bullet points of the deal look like this. Resembles the Bolts' last best offer that was rejected last week. $17 million guaranteed for a 21-year-old defensive lineman who will help the Chargers week 1 against Arrowhead. Rick Willis has our story.
I don't know what you guys were doing last night, but we snuck him in.
If you'd been following the national media coverage of the Joey Bosa and Chargers contract stalemate, you would have thought that Bosa would never wear a Chargers uni. Monday, his locker was full of his football gear.
We came to a fair deal, and there's no animosity between any of us, me towards them or them towards me.
While Bosa's admittedly not in football shape, he says he's in good enough shape to help the Chargers beat the Chiefs on September 11th.
Coach's decision, but I'm 100% sure that I'm in some of the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Given it was your choice, would you play?
Yeah.
Throughout the holdout, there seemed like there was animosity amongst Bosa and his teammates. Come Monday, they welcomed him in with open arms.
At the end of the day, we all wear the same jersey. And we all represent our families. We all represent where we come from. But at the end of the day, we're all one unit. We can't be all stuck over the business side of it. That's their job. That's above our pay grade to worry about the business side of it.
It wasn't like some big parade we threw, it was just kind of like, it's, finally, we can have him here. I know he's excited. We're excited to have him.
Of course, there's the issue of Joey's mom and her Facebook post where she said they should have done what the Giants had done and said that they'd never play for the Chargers. Well, Joey says that's just the case of an adult not knowing how to use social media.
She loves me. She wants what's best for me, and she made a dumb decision like I have before, saying something she shouldn't have said on social media, and she honestly had no idea it was public. She thought because she was sending it to someone else, leave it to a mom to mess up on Facebook. But
for more on the Chargers, here's Matt Gilson.
Before Friday's preseason game between the 49ers and the Packers, Colin Kaepernick sat out the Star-Spangled Banner.
This stand wasn't for me. This stand wasn't because I feel like I'm being put down in any kind of way. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice.
When the anthem plays before Thursday's contest at Qualcomm Stadium, Kaepernick's made it clear where he'll be.
I'll continue to sit. I'm going to continue to stand with the people that are being oppressed. To me, this is something that has to change.
On the home sideline, it's also clear where Coach McCoy expects the Chargers will be.
In the years that I've been here, we're all up there on the line together as a team. So that's what we've always done.
With the number of cameras sure to be pointed at Kaepernick during Thursday's anthem and the number of people like me sure to shove mics in his face after the game, it's a pretty clear reminder that when an NFL player has something to say, there are plenty of people listening.
Every athlete has the opportunity to make a difference, whether it be good or bad. We all gotta use it, appropriately.
That's his right and that's his choice. I mean, whether I agree with it or not, that's on him.
I support him with what he's doing, but it's the flag also means freedom. You have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion.
I'm a firm believer and thankful for the sacrifice that our troops and everybody does for us. But I think people just need to understand that his standpoint for doing it is for something different.
Everybody has the right to say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, you got to be responsible for the things you say.
From Chargers Park, Matt Gilson, KUSI Sports.
Thank you, Rick and Matt. And look who's back in town. The Parkview Little Leaguers were eliminated from the World Series tournament last week, and they had to hang around and wait to fly home. And sure enough, they arrived tonight. And welcome back, guys. Their official parade will be on Thursday as they celebrate an amazing season. We will, of course, be there with our cameras. So welcome home, Parkview Little Leaguers.
Yeah, job well done.
Great job with those guys. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
You're watching the KUSI News at 11.
Well, students are back on campus for San Diego State University's first day of school.
Big day. Nearly 11,000 new students started classes at SDSU. Returning students gave some tips on how to succeed on campus.
Make sure that you go to class and you learn and take notes and go to class.
Be comfortable with the uncomfortable and begin to grow. That's about it.
The university will kick off their football season this Saturday.
Big day for those kids.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Queen Victoria's wedding crown might be taken out of England if a second buyer doesn't match the price.
The government has placed a temporary ban on the export, hoping a UK buyer will step up. The crown, lined with sapphire and diamonds, was designed by Prince Albert back in 1840 for his bride, Queen Victoria. Considered a rare piece of England's history, it symbolizes one of the nation's most famous love stories.
A new buyer has to match or beat the current bid, which is set at $7 million. Whoa.
Pricey.
Yeah.
Well, the U.S. Sand Sculpting Challenge is back here in San Diego.
And this will be the 5th year that one of the world's best sand sculpting competitions will be held here. Sculptors from all over the world are coming to showcase their skills. One master sand sculptor says anyone can work with sand.
It's very freeing to experiment with the material. If this were a block of marble, it would cost several $100,000. I'd be scared to touch it until I had an exact plan, and then it's already done. If you have an exact plan, you know, what's the point in actually executing? So with sand, you're free to experiment. It's also tangible to the public. Everybody has worked in sand on some level in their life, and when they come see them done on a professional level, they're instantly engaged.
Well, the event kicks off this weekend, running from September 2nd through the 5th, and I am jealous because my sand sculptures don't quite look like that.
Boy, those are works of art. That takes a whole bunch of pages.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's amazing what they can do. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good Morning San Diego begins at 5 tomorrow morning.
Have a good night. We'll see you.